folks, welcome back to Cooking and Cocktails at the Cabin. Today's specialty is going to be my award-winning chili. This chili's named Sweet and Sassy, and this chili has won 3 awards. The first one was a first place for the Mayor's fundraiser. The second time I won for my chili was another first place for Home Builders and Contractors Association back in 2019. And then on 2020, I took a second place for a red chili, and I'm very proud of my chili. Once again, it's called Sweet and Sassy. And of course, with chili, gotta have a nice cold beer. So, it's close to October. I'm starting to celebrate, as you can see, with the little bit of towels that I've gotten out. I'm so ready for fall. With this heat wave, nothing better than chili and cold beer. In my chili, once again, Sweet and Sassy. It's a little spicy, a little bit sweet. I've added 2 medium chopped onions, and I already had them starting to brown. And now I'm adding my ground shuck, and I do 2 pounds of ground shuck with the 2 medium onions chopped. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this ground beef and onions all chopped up. Of course, if you've watched any of my videos before, you know how much I love my peppered chef. And the peppered chef chopper comes in very handy. I'm doing everything with anything with ground beef, ground pork. Adding all the dry ingredients right now to the onions and right now to the ground beef as it starts to simmer. I want that to cook in really, really well. It's garlic powder, chili powder, cayenne pepper, black pepper, salt. Those are gonna be my first ingredients. Now I'm gonna go ahead and make this to the recipe, and I'm gonna use the recipe conservatively because I like my chili very hot. Most people don't, so you can make this sweet and sassy or sassy and sweet. So we're gonna start off with sweet and sassy, and as it starts to cook, I'll go ahead and add additional cayenne pepper till I get that perfect hotness for my family and I. All right, so I've already pre-measured everything out. All the cayenne peppers, all the garlic, all the salt and pepper. Stir that well. And I'm gonna go ahead and let that cook into the meat. I can smell that cayenne pepper already. Chili to clear out the sinuses. As this is, I would consider it a normal hot chili, a normal heat, which is what I cooked when I won my award-winning chili. I added some sugar. Actually, I'm gonna add 1 cup of sugar. Probably after this boils down, the grease gets out, the chili starts to brown, I'll add 1 cup of sugar. And then I'll start adding my heat accordingly. You know, one thing about cooking chili is when you put your chili sauce and your chili powder and your cayenne pepper in, you don't quite know whether your meat's done. So I go by the amount of grease that's left in the pan. So what I've done is gone ahead and created myself a little bit of a bowl, or well, if you will. It's getting pretty low. A lot of the grease is coming out. I want to go ahead and, I wouldn't say caramelize, but I want to go ahead and start adding my sugar now. I'm going to add 1 full cup of sugar to the chili. And if you're making the sweet and sassy chili, there's no substitutions. It's sugar. Let this simmer for probably about another 10 to 15 minutes. Get all that grease out of there. Make sure all that cayenne pepper, all that sugar starts cooking into the meat and the onions, along with your garlic powder, your salt, and your pepper. Let that simmer, caramelize, simmer, pool, if you will. And then we'll come back to it and add all of our wet ingredients. Smelling good already. Pumpkin. Time for a taste test. Okay, cooking it as a recipe, it's got a lot of sweet and then a lot of boom sassy. Depending on how much you like sweet and how much you like sassy, you can add a little bit more cayenne to get a little bit more sassy at the end. It's always going to be very sweet on your first bite, followed up by a lot of sassy. Let's go ahead and add our liquid ingredients. I don't like kidney beans. Most chili recipes call for kidney beans. I don't like them. So what I did years ago was substitute kidney beans for cannella beans. The Italian white kidney bean. The first can I'm gonna put in, I leave the sauce to kind of keep it thick. Your next batch of cannella beans, I've drained and rinsed off. To rinse off a little bit of that goopy syrup, so that way it's not so thick. Add that batch in. Okay. Going. And what I call a secret ingredient, Heinz ketchup. 1/4 a cup of Heinz ketchup. Adds that little bit of sweet and sassy kick. Now we're gonna go ahead and add our petite diced tomatoes. 1 full can. Okay, I'm gonna let this cook down for about an hour. And then we'll go ahead and do a taste test. Gosh, I can't wait for chili. Num num. All right. I'm gonna cook uncovered for 1 hour, stirring every 15 minutes. Pumpkin beer. Sweet and sassy chili. I serve my chili with oyster crackers, a little bit of cheese on top, and sometimes if the sweet and sassy is a little bit too sassy for the average person, I suggest a little dollop of sour cream to kind of cool it down. For me, it's never too sassy. So let's give her a shot. Of course, the longer you cook, the better. I'll probably let it cook for another half an hour before I serve it tonight. Sweet and sassy. I doubled the recipe, so what I'm gonna do now is it's just not quite enough sassy for me. I'm gonna add 1 more tablespoon of cayenne pepper and 1 additional half a cup of sugar. So as you decide how sassy and sweet you want your chili to be, it would be 1 tablespoon of cayenne pepper to 1/2 a cup of sugar. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of both. Hope you enjoyed the recipe. Please like, please subscribe, please share with your friends. Very simple, easy chili recipe. Meat, beans, onions, all your dry ingredients, and some ketchup as my secret ingredient. Delicious.